Hello and welcome to the Talkin Bits podcast. I am your host, Michael, and with me is the guy who just agreed to do a show with me tonight, Nathaniel Booher.
Hey, what's up, buddy? That's not true. Michael is trying to sucker me into going to this show with him tonight, and I don't want to
Because he
I'm tired.
hates me.
Yeah. No, it's been a long couple of weeks, but we're gonna get into all that.
Yeah. Well, I just off the top want to apologize to everyone. I wasn't here last week on the Farewell State Street show. It was kind of
what a piece of shit.
yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
I do like.
Thanks, man.
For the record, I like the gag of me very earnestly telling you I don't mind off mic, and then as soon as the mic's rolling, be like, "You asshole!
Yeah,
you left me alone."
Fuck off. Yeah. No. So for those of you who know and reached out, thank you. For those of you who know and are acting like Nathaniel, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So
that's fine. That's fine. No, we explained on the episode you weren't there.
I cut it.
Okay?
Yep.
Well, they didn't hear it.
It was the very, very beginning of the episode, and
Right.
there was it was like audio tests. So I was like,
Yeah.
this doesn't really flow. So
No, it's cool.
yeah.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Michael was having some family stuff at that time, and
Yep.
we've this show is fun and we like to do it, but also we have other things.
Yeah.
And you in particular, I mean, I don't really care about anyone in my life, but you have you have a kid and a wife and stuff, and so sometimes things happen, and you got to prioritize that. And we off mic have had many conversations about how much I and every guest of the show respects that about you and the show as well, so that there's never going to be a point where we prioritize this show over your family or mine. So
thank you.
Yeah. So I think our listeners would understand as far as
And I do appreciate all the comics, because I did tell some of the comics, and they were told what was going on, and I do appreciate it. I just want to say that up top. And thank you, and I love you all. And so we don't have a guest this week. Just gonna say it off top.
That's right.
We did have a guest. He unfortunately got the flu, and
and
his health is more important, and
True.
his family is more important.
Actually, I don't mean it as much for him. I think he should prioritize us over his family and health.
Yeah, but then he'd give us the flu, and then
I'm kind of looking for a sickness.
Have you ever had the flu?
I just like the sympathy you get when you're sick.
No. Have you ever had the flu specifically? I got the flu.
I've never said that out loud before. Boy, that made
I
me
was just gonna let you
a sick person, huh?
Yeah,
Because I kind of meant it a little bit.
You like the sympathy? I get it, dude.
I did used to have fantasies of like breaking my arm and like
stabbing people. Oh no, what happened? Can I sign it?
Am I the only one when I was a kid? And
dude.
Somebody's got a cast. But to be fair, if I broke my arm and there was like one signature on it and it was like my uncle,
myself.
I'd probably
dude, I'd kill myself. No, that's the funniest thing I think I've ever heard you say. Just
I've never said that out loud.
No, I get it though. Have you ever had the flu specifically though?
No, but I had COVID, and that's
dude,
just,
I didn't have COVID, but the flu.
It's the Far East flu. They call it.
Fucking killed me. Anyway, so we had a last minute cancellation. Might have a last minute cancellation next week whenever Nathaniel decides to break his arm. So
he'll be on soon, and it'll be another amazing episode. It's a return guest, and you know him and love him. So
he's been on every episode. It feels like
he was. He
was on the last episode. But we also, Nathaniel and I, we were talking about it. We're gonna have to take a week off because we're both gonna be doing a little bit of traveling. So
that's right.
We didn't want to take this week off, and then we also were like, well, we haven't done a solo episode in a while, so. Let's just do it. Let's just talk about what's going on. I've had some stuff since the last time I've been on mic. Nathaniel has some stuff since the last time he's been on mic. So you said you saw somebody right before we clicked record. You said you saw someone that you're excited to talk about.
I did.
Want to know.
I'm so excited. I was in fuck that guy. I was in Knoxville on Wednesday doing the roast battle. Yeah. And it was fun, and we'll get into that too, I'm sure. But doing the roast battle, and afterwards we're all hanging out, and everybody, I had a great headliner come through, Don't Tell, a couple weeks ago too. Shout out to Connor Larson and Justin Wagner from Nashville. They're amazing. And the whole time they were there, they were telling me, you got to go see this other guy, this friend of ours, who's going to be headlining for Justin at the end of the week on Friday.
Justin Mays?
For Justin Mays in Knoxville, right. So all week, I'm like, maybe, but I already know I have to go Wednesday. I don't want to drive twice. After Wednesday, we're sitting there, and Justin's like, you should come. They're right. He's going to be great. You should come. And I'm like, I know. And then he goes, well, we may have a special guest dropping in on the late show. And I was freaking out, and I was like, oh, shit, is it going to be like another big name? Who is it? Who is it? And he was like, let's just say this comedian might be on a business trip over in North Carolina, and he's going to drive over and jump on the lake. And I was like, does this comedian live in Austin? And he was like, he does as of about 4 months ago. And I was like,
no.
Is this comedian on Kill Tony shortly after moving to Austin? And he was like, he sure was. Tyler Gallant. I got to see Mr. Tyler Gallant last night, and I was probably more excited than opening for Mark Norman.
That's so cool.
I was literally like a little kid who hadn't seen my friend and
do you
moved to another school.
Do you think Tyler's forgot about our podcast already?
I would hope so. Yeah,
I think he's done bigger and badder things. Mm-hmm. I was in Knoxville this week also. What day were you in Knoxville?
Wednesday and Friday.
I was in Knoxville on Thursday.
Just missed you. Two ships passing in the whatever that saying is.
In the
passing
sea?
on the interstate. Yeah,
two ships passing on I-81, boy.
That's us. No, so Tyler was great. I went. Obviously, I wanted to see him. Miss that sweet boy. So I went to see him, and I also was curious. Just for the sake of this show, just for conversation sake, I wanted to see what kind of a difference there was, and it was pretty crazy. It really was. I mean, his material, he did a lot of the same jokes and a lot of new stuff. New stuff is strong. It's tight to be at the most 4 months old, because I've never heard it. Yeah. So at the most 4, maybe 6 months old. Pretty tight, pretty strong. But his, I went up to him afterwards and I was like, your stage presence was night and day.
How many open mics is he?
A lot. A lot, and he's running one now too.
Oh yeah,
which is huge.
That's crazy. He's already running an open mic. Just moving down there.
Yeah, he said him and a friend are about to start producing a showcase show too. So yeah, it was just cool to see. The comfort on stage. I mean, it felt like when he walked up there was no anxiety or fear that read. Which I said that, and he was like, "Oh, of course I still have it. I just got better." He's like, "You don't get rid of it. You just get better at hiding it."
Yeah.
Which is true, but to see him go up and do that was really cool to know, oh yeah, it does. It makes a difference where you're at and what
he was one of my favorite guests we had. I feel like I didn't really know him before we had him on.
Yeah.
And I liked him.
Yeah. I started falling in love with him right when he moved. That's the story of my life.
Yeah, pretty much. He came to my house. I was like, gosh.
Yeah, what a handsome
different
slam poet he is. Huh?
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. I've talked about doing slam poetry because of you, Tyler. I want to do it. I don't know how to do it. I want to start.
He's great. So anybody who maybe isn't familiar with who we're speaking of, please go back to his episode.
It was not that long ago. It was like 10, 20 episodes ago.
Yeah, and he was here right before the big move too. Yeah. So I think, if you go back and listen and then to hear me talk about it now, I think you kind of get an idea of what I'm saying.
And he was on an episode of Kill Tony, which was and the first 30 seconds of him on stage, you're like, how's this gonna go?
I know, yeah.
And then he pulled it out.
So great. Great. And what a choice too. I mean, that's a
bold joke.
Ballsy choice. Yeah.
That could have gone a completely different way.
Yeah. All the judges, like Jim Norton was like, I thought for a minute you were gonna bomb the hardest of the night. Zero feedback. And then he crushed. So,
Yeah. Then he got invited to the secret show.
He did. I asked him about that too, and he said, "I said, how was that secret show?" And he goes, I wish it was great." I was like, "Oh, you did that's it." And he was like, "No, that was fine. It was just like I think he said it was a 3-hour show, 2.5, 3-hour show." And he's like, "I went in like 2 hours." Yeah, is when I went out, brother. So they're dead. They're
nobody
asleep.
Fucking cares at that point.
And he was like, but then right after him, Cam Patterson came out, and they went ballistic. So it's like maybe it was just me. I don't know. But that's a special case. So got to see him, and that's just one of the many exciting things that's been going on.
I went to Knoxville this week too. I saw a comedian. Didn't meet them face to face, but I saw a comedian.
Please tell us.
We had a conversation. I can't remember who the guest was, but I got very heated and animated, and I want to double down on one thing I said, but I also want to correct one thing I said.
Okay.
So a couple months ago, I said that a certain comedian was the most famous comedian. It might have been the Tyler Gallant episode, actually, now I think about it.
It might have been
the most famous comedian in the world for non-comedian fans. Okay?
Right. And so for people who don't regularly consume stand-up comedy, he's the most
famous comedian.
Recognizable.
And
name or face, or both?
Probably name and voice more so because of the clips.
I don't know. His face is pretty remarkable.
His face, he's changed it up a lot.
Remarkable.
Yeah. So I would say, and I don't know how you feel about that, but I would say the most famous non-comedians comic
Yeah.
in the world.
I don't know that I disagree with that. I don't remember you saying it before, but I don't.
You disagreed with me pretty fucking hard at the time.
I'm not sure I understood the non.
You were like, "What about Tom Segura?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Tom Segura is obviously fucking better." But like, yeah. So
yeah, I don't know.
For those of you who need a refresher, we were talking about Matt Rife,
right?
And when he announced his world tour, whenever that was, my wife's friends were like kind of excited. They're like, "We should go see him." Yeah. And they bought tickets for all of us, and so we went to see him. The show was supposed to be in like February, but it got postponed to this past week, or till Thursday, whatever. Fucking, I don't know. Last Thursday when you listen to this, unless you listen to it later than a while ago. So
boy, was that a journey there in the mind of Michael Rose. Everyone, that was.
If you were wanting to know what ADHD with a touch of depression looks like, that is it right there. So.
We're chasing a rabbit around a tree right there.
Yeah, that was.
Anyways,
you ever play like Super Mario 64? We're just chasing that rabbit. I
genuinely don't know where I'm at right now.
You know whenever you play Super, you ever like Mario 64 when you're chasing that rabbit in the basement, and you're chasing it.
Yeah.
That's my brain all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was Matt Rife. We saw him. We saw him in Knoxville. And I gotta say, it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Literally the worst show I have ever seen.
Now, are you saying that
I'm gonna say this. Hold on.
Because you want to...
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say this, okay?
He's fun to hate on.
I don't have an hour of material. I do not have an hour of material.
Right. Some would argue you have none.
Fuck off. I have a show after this that Nathaniel and I are doing, and I'm gonna do 10 minutes. And for the listeners, he was taking a drink of coffee whenever I said that, and I think he's dying right now. But Nathaniel and I have a show after this, and I'm going to do 10 minutes, and I promise you, okay, that the 10 minutes of jokes I do tonight will do better than the 1 hour of jokes he did on Thursday night.
So not only did you not find him enjoyable, the crowd did not.
Have you ever seen?
No.
Like. I can't think of which special it is, but there's a Kevin Hart special that's just not funny, right?
The one in his basement during COVID?
No, I've not seen that one, but I imagine that's pretty rough.
There's
one where he's in an audience, and people are still laughing, but it's like, oh, he's Kevin Hart. We're famous. Like, we're just fucking happy to see him. Right. He got a lot of those laughters.
It's a different thing.
There was 2 genuine laughs. For joke wise, there was 1 genuine laugh on a prepared joke.
And do you want to say what the joke was?
I don't want to say this joke. It was a good joke, but listen.
Michael won't say those words.
I will not say that word onto a microphone. Not again. Word.
Anyways.
Yeah, no. No. That was good timing.
Clip that one out.
No.
No, isolate that audio.
No.
Yeah, anyway. Matt Rife said the
Oh, so much, dude. Yeah. I will say this is like kind of on topic. Every single comic on that show was like, not a lot of black people here tonight, huh? Every single one of them walked out and said that.
Oh, so yeah, let me ask you that. So he has openers, I imagine.
So
features,
yeah. So he had 2 openers. Mm-hmm. Alex Caruso was the first, and he hosted. And
I know that name actually.
And oh god, he has 2 fucking 2 last names. Something I cannot think of his name.
Can I ask? Because I'm sure our listeners are wondering why the fuck did you go to a Matt Rife show in the first place?
I explained that. Kayla's friends, my wife's friends were excited about it, bought tickets. They're like, you want to see it? And I'm like, yeah. He's like,
oh, that must have been the roundabout area where you lost me.
Yeah. I was like, yeah.
I genuinely didn't hear that.
Well, I mean, in my defense, like he is like one of the most recognizable comics in the world right now. I'm in comedy.
Yeah.
I like comedy.
I think it's interesting to go see. If I had free tickets, I probably would have gone.
It wasn't. We paid.
Just
it was like 60,
as a science
60, 70 bucks.
Really.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
So the openers were fine. The Alex guy, he had the funniest joke of the night, and I've never heard so fucking many people shouting out during a show.
Really? So just hecklers. Now let me ask you this, because Sean Carter and I,
it's because of TikTok,
right?
And
they know Matt as the crowd work guy,
and I cannot tell you how many times they were like, "Hey, don't fucking talk."
Wow.
Like they said it several times.
I bet they get so tired of having to say that.
And then like when Matt Rife started doing crowd work, he did do crowd work.
Yeah.
He did about 45, he was on stage for about an hour, did 45, 50 minutes of prepared material, and then did about 10 minutes of crowd work.
Yeah.
The 45, 50 minutes fucking blew.
Of course.
Was awful.
And then crowd work.
Crushes.
Yeah. How many minutes of crowd work?
Probably about 10.
He needs to flip that ratio.
Crushed it.
Yeah, flip that ratio.
Crushed. Sure. Like the funniest joke I will say this, the funniest joke I've heard in a year came out of his crowd work.
But did it feel canned or was it?
It wasn't
on
prepared.
The fly.
It was very obvious. It was that one I told you about with the word. I'm not gonna the punchline. I'm not gonna say.
Sure. Yeah.
It was.
But that was a callback to.
It was a callback to a joke that had bombed.
Right.
But it was like, yeah, you said it like 8 times earlier, and it wasn't funny. Now it's fucking funny. You earned it. But yeah, so it was just like he also didn't hold a microphone. He had a fucking like the earpiece microphone.
Oh fuck him,
yeah, dude. Thank you. I was like in the car ride home. I was like, who the fuck does he think he is?
Ricky Gervais. Yeah, fuck him.
Like, I did not like it. He was holding a cup of coffee the whole time.
Yeah, it's not a fucking TED Talk.
His first fucking joke.
Hold on.
His opening joke.
Let's pause. You said he was holding a cup of coffee.
Whole fucking time.
With an over-the-ear headset on.
Yeah.
Fuck him, dude.
Yeah.
Everything I knew about him up to this point.
He had a cup of coffee. It wasn't like a one of your. It was like a.
It wasn't
like a
Starbucks. Talkin' Bits
Starbucks
cup available on Patreon.
Do we have these available on Patreon? Oh, I was like, do we have a Patreon?
I've been secretly pocketing our Patreon this whole time.
Motherfucker. I was like, how much money have we made? No.
It wouldn't be a lot.
Yeah, these cups were these soups were like 30 bucks.
Yeah, Joe Bridges does not have that much money, and he'd be the only one to contribute.
Yeah, for $5 a month, you can help us lose $25
Our Patreon
a cup.
is one cheesecake a month. That's the price.
From Joe Bridges.
From Joe Bridges. Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was like a to-go cup, like a to-go coffee cup. They just drink it, and he had like a bottle of water on his stool or whatever.
Dude.
But like he's just literally for the first 30 minutes was just like, you know, he'd tell his punchline. We would get like, and I'm gonna do this in a fun way. He'd tell a punchline, and we get. But more like this, like real quiet, you know? Right, no clapping. And then he'd go, like, into the fucking... Like, you could hear it every time. Like, you motherfucker. Yeah, like, stop. But anyway, so...
It sounds like he didn't give a fuck. Like,
his first joke of the night, I swear to God, and if somebody has seen him live recently, fact check me.
They have not.
His first joke of the night is a Taylor Tomlinson joke. Swear to God.
Like a stolen joke?
Taylor Tomlinson has a joke about sleeping. Have you seen her special where she has the joke about sleeping? I'm going to give you guys the rundown. It's on Netflix.
Probably not the full special.
I'm going to give you the rundown. It's like one of her openers, too. She has a joke about how she has trouble sleeping. She's always had trouble sleeping. She has a couple ha-has in there. And then she's like, and I always ask audience members, like, do you have any suggestions? And then she's like, talking about the ridiculous suggestions that she gets. Matt Rife does a worse version of that joke. And his second joke, I cannot place it, but I've heard the joke too.
And you don't think it's just a case of like
it was
similar thoughts or like no.
Dude, I mean it's the same. Like he changed it a little. Like it's a worse version of the joke.
On
but
this
like
topic,
it's such a I'll find the special, I'll send it to you because I want you to watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's a very particular premise.
Right. Like and it couldn't just be parallel thinking.
Yeah.
Well, on the topic of parallel thinking, while at the show last night, which I'd like to talk more about, but while seeing Tyler, I saw Taylor Williams. Have you ever seen Taylor before? Mm-mm. She's Nashville. She's fantastic. She does a lot in Knoxville for Justin. She opened for Sam Talent there, all that good stuff. Hilarious comedian. She has a whole bit now about in loving memory bumper stickers, and it broke my heart.
Aww.
It's nowhere close to mine.
Yeah.
I've never actually done time in front of her, so I know she didn't steal it from me.
Yeah.
I didn't see her until 6 months after I wrote that joke. So it's certainly parallel thinking, but it's different. I mean, I take it in a
different
more
enough.
aggressive direction. I would say hers is more just observational, I guess.
Yeah.
Either way, she has, a topic there, and I was like, man, that's crazy because I don't know. I don't guess I assumed I'm the only comedian who's ever acknowledged that those stickers are weird, but I'm certainly the only one I've ever seen with my own eyes talk about that.
I have a joke about it.
Well, you stole that one from me. Yeah.
I almost sent you a bumper sticker the other day, and
I get them all the time.
I was in a hospital parking lot, and the person who owned the car was in the car, and I was like, "Ooh, that'd be weird." So I didn't do it.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you see one of those stickers that says "In Loving Memory," tag me another one on Instagram. I'll share it.
That's a funny tag section.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it wasn't great. The opening comic, he had a lot of hecklers, which was very annoying because he was very funny. I'll be honest with you, I did not think he was going to do good, and then he told a joke that fucking got me.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then he got heckled, and he got heckled to the point where like he ran out of time.
Yeah.
And then the second guy, I didn't love him. He was more he was funny, but he wasn't. He was a very animated like movement based comic, and that's just not like my style. But like he did fine. He did have a very funny. He did have a very, very funny joke about hands, which it's a very weak, weak description of a joke.
It's a very wide premise.
But yeah, Matt Rife, man, like it just, I don't know, dude. Like it just wasn't
vibing.
It like wasn't good. Like it.
Yeah. It just wasn't good. That's fine.
If I had to give it, like, I would literally give it a 1 out of 5.
I mean, that shows you though what hype can do, like mob mentality. If so many people go, this guy for a year,
his crowd work,
you can sell out. How many seats do you know?
3,000. It was the Knoxville Civic Auditorium. It was sold out. Yeah. 3,000. Oh, early and late show both sold out.
That fucking pisses me off, dude. This whole time I thought we were talking about a club with like 200 seats.
I do think he would murder in a club.
Sure.
I think.
Well, okay, so let's say that too. And
fucking
again,
murder.
Far be it for us to rush to the defense of Matt Rife, but he certainly underperformed according to you in this thing. But you and I both know we've been to both sides shows, and if anyone listening, if you ever have, it is a different thing.
It wasn't. So like the thing was, it didn't feel like a thought out, completed act here. In the theater.
His special's been out a while, huh?
Yeah.
Like he's not fresh out of material.
6-7 months.
Brand new stuff. Well, and that's released, so probably a year.
Yeah.
Since he recorded, so he's had a year to get new material.
Yeah,
he's
like,
right between.
Well,
specials.
so like he wasn't fumbling through the material, so it's like it's prepared.
Yeah,
but it's like they're not good jokes.
Funny, yeah.
Like I
think it's just like quantity over quality at this point. Like
it was 100% quantity. Yeah. Like that one joke I told you.
Right.
Like it was a very funny joke. Yeah. I don't think it was worth the setup, but it was a very funny joke, if that makes sense.
It's pretty
interesting.
It's
like a 10-minute setup.
Yeah, it's
for like a very funny joke.
It's kind of cool to know that everyone who shits on that dude is right, though.
Yeah, well, like I think he
mostly just the coffee cup.
Here's the funny thing
that pisses me off,
dude. It made me the headset,
I'm doing it from now on.
The headset made me mad.
Can we? So
he held it the whole time. It's not like he took a sip and put it down. He was holding it the whole time.
I don't think this is gonna spoil anything because I don't think he's gonna do it. But I had the lovely pleasure of a dinner with Andrew McCaffrey a couple weeks ago, just me and him, after a show.
Your dad?
Yeah, me and my dad. We went out, had some father-son bonding time for the holiday. We went to Waffle House after a show. We're sitting there, and
I knew.
He just randomly
immediately knew.
Yeah, he flipped his phone, and he had this picture of it's a microphone, so it has like a standard microphone head on it, but it's a revolver. Like leading, it's a revolver microphone, and he was like, "I'm thinking about buying this." And I said, "If you come out with a box, set it on the stool, get the regular mic out of the stand, and go, just one moment, ladies and gentlemen, I bring my own microphone, unplug it, plug it into what's in the box, and then show them a handgun with a mic."
That would be funny as fuck.
And then just did your set. They wouldn't even hear your jokes. They'd just be laughing at the fact that you're holding a handgun right now.
It would bomb horribly.
I think it would be one of the funnier things I've ever seen.
It would bomb to the fact. It would bomb. Yeah. It could bomb to the point where he would wish it was a real gun.
Well, that being said, let me tell you what he did just prior to that. And I don't think he'd appreciate.
I love Andrew McCaffrey.
This story.
I love him so much. Yeah. Watching him bomb is just a different level.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. Because he doesn't care. He genuinely. I don't think it affects him. I don't think he's human. So he was doing Blue Ridge. Saturday night was Blue Ridge's final show right after we recorded the podcast. But I had Don't Tell in Johnson City. That's when Connor Larson headlined. And so we're in Johnson City doing the show. And about halfway through the early show, Andrew McCaffrey texts me. And he goes, "Hey, I'm leaving Blue Ridge. Is it cool if I stop by to hang to see Connor and everybody?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course. Come on." And then when he got there, I was like, "You want to go up?" And he was like, "Oh, no, I'm just here to hang." I was like, "No, go up. It's fine. I'll pay you. Go up." So he's like, "Okay, I'll go up. Where do you want to put me?" And I was like, "I don't know. Not opening, like I don't know."
Yeah, that's a weird energy to start the night off with.
So I had Jordan B open.
That's a good energy to start the night
Crushed.
off with.
He did great. Pruitt did great.
Yeah.
Andrew goes up, and on the late show I hosted, so I did a little time up front. And there's a group of like 5 or 6 old ladies. Pretty nice. They seemed nice. They had someone take a picture of them in front of the microphone before the show. It was like, like grandma's night out.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, they were Interesting. They were dancing to the disco music that I had playing. Yeah, they were wine moms for sure.
One glass of wine. Yeah.
Or wine grandmas, maybe. Yeah, so they're and they're a little tight, I'll be honest. Like right from the get-go, they're a little uptight. I can tell they don't want to laugh at certain things. I can tell. And there's 6 of them in a room of 35.
So like
they're a fifth 20%. Of the audience. Yeah. And they're not first row, but second row on the right-hand side. And they're that whole row. So the whole right-hand side, basically dead center, is just sitting there, arms folded. They're just not having a great time. Jordan goes up, destroys.
Does he get him?
No.
I didn't think so.
They don't really budge. They probably racist.
And
that's what I was about to speaking of that, I don't even know if I can say this on camera. So let me tell you.
25-30. Okay.
Remind me to tell you after the show what someone said to Jordan B.
Was it a slur?
No. But I think he would have preferred a slur. Anyway, so it's wild. I may tell in a second. So these ladies.
I want you to tell it.
So these ladies.
You're the one who'll get canceled.
The Jordan B goes up, the opener. Doesn't really get them. They maybe chuckle, whatever. And some of them are having fun. Like among the 6 of them, some of them are better than others. One of them in particular hasn't smirked. Pruitt goes up. Beyond destroys. Like one of the better sets I've seen Pruitt have, especially at 10 minutes. A great, he's on fire. And he just had the early show too, so everybody's warm. All the comics are warm. Great set. Andrew goes up. They're not laughing. Still, they're not laughing. He tells a joke.
Weird energy.
He tells some McCaffrey joke. You know his stuff. If you've ever seen McCaffrey, you know what I'm talking about. He tells a joke. The audience laughs. Huge laugh. Everybody's laughing except these ladies. So without even looking at him, Andrew goes, "Yeah, that one didn't do too well over in the menopausal lounge." Okay. Crowd goes nuts. Because all night, now they've started to feed up. You know how it is. Crowds sniff them out. They know, they're not having fun.
Yeah.
And
especially in a crowd of 30.
When he says this, when he goes, that didn't do too well over in the menopausal lounge, they all went like eyebrows up, chin down, looking at him. Lady in the middle, who's been not even smirked the whole time, just goes.
Flips him off,
and holds it for what felt like an eternity. As the person who booked this show and they paid money to in the back, I was shaking in my boots about where this was about to go. She holds it, and it's a bright spotlight.
Yeah.
And you know Andrew he's old as fuck. He can't see, and he's wearing his hat. And so he lifts up his hat like this and uses his hand, which is hilarious. You're wearing a hat. You use your hand to block the light. And he's squinting and leaning in to look, and he sees just the silhouette of this old lady's finger. And dead silence, so awkward, he just goes, "You have a very long finger." At this point, nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, here goes the show. And so, but then the crowd just starts laughing again because they're like, this is so off the rails. And then there's like, I don't know, there's a little back and forth or something. He just moves on. And at this point, they just lose all hope in the show, I guess. And they start whispering among themselves, when's it going to be over? I can hear them saying this. Everyone in the crowd can hear.
Not really whispering.
Well, it was a tiny little shed that I had locked everybody in. Yeah. So it was pretty noticeable when they were saying, and they're just not having a good time. And then Connor goes up and he's like, "You guys can go. Like, you're clearly not having a good time." It was afterwards. Andrew was like, "I'm sorry, I ruined your show." I was like, "You didn't ruin the show." Like, those ladies were not having a good time, and I want to say, like, it's
hard. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just like, as a producer, some people don't enjoy your show. It's not for them. I'm fully confident in the show that I put together. The venue, the ticket price, the hype, the lead up, the marketing,
it is good
lineup,
marketing.
all of it. The whole process, I'm very confident in. Obviously, we make mistakes. I can say beyond the shadow of a doubt that was not on me or the comics or the venue. Those ladies just weren't there for what they thought they were.
Somebody told them to go see a comedy show, and they was like, "Oh, yeah."
Or we also advertised at the venue for about a week leading up to it, and the venue is a brewery. So I would imagine maybe they're just regulars at that brewery. They hang out, and they're like, "Oh, we're here anyways on most Saturdays. Maybe we should walk over there and see the show." And that's fine, and I appreciate that they would come out to a show. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing on crowd members who paid me to see a show. But at a certain point, if you're not enjoying it, you are free to leave.
Dude, that's like my mindset. Like even with the Matt Rife thing, like I wasn't having a good time, but I'm like, I know it's not for me because I'm not into Matt Rife.
I mean, you bought the tickets and drove.
I did drive. I didn't buy the tickets.
Well,
so but I try to like, okay, this isn't my style of humor, but I'm at a show. Let's get it. Like let's laugh. Let's see the humor.
Mm-hmm.
Just couldn't do it, dude. I'm a tough critic, to be fair, but like I just couldn't do it.
At a certain point, too, don't you just kind of go, well, if I'm not enjoying it, let me figure out why everyone else is. Like, you kind of turn and start watching the crowd watch him.
Yeah, dude, it just, I don't know.
I did that last night. At Justin's show.
Yeah, Justin's not that funny, huh?
Yeah. You wait till he gets back.
I know. I love you, buddy. I'm sorry.
So his don't tells are amazing. There's everything that I hope mine get to. You know, they're me in a year, hopefully. And he's doing great, and he's got a regular crowd. 2 sold out shows in this awesome venue. Basement, perfect for comedy. But the headliner, his name is Rand Barclow.
I thought you were going to say Rand Paul for a second.
Rand Barclow. He is from Cincinnati, friends with Lee Kimbrell, my good buddy Lee Kimbrell, who headlined for me a couple weeks ago. Great dude. And I heard from Connor and from Justin and everybody, you got to go see this Rand guy. Everyone just kept saying he's a maniac. He's crazy. He's a maniac. What a perfect description. I can't think of another way to say
crazy
whatever
on stage. Or?
You would halfway through that show, you would have turned to me and gone, is he doing stuff? What's he doing?
Is he just like a crazy dude? Just a
crazy fella. And
vibing
so
it out on
funny.
stage?
So funny. Yeah. I mean, he had the comics laughing harder than the audience on
that's like, I know it's for the audience, but it's also like, it's a good affirmation whenever the comics find your joke funny because they...
Dude. Andrew was hosting. Andrew McCaffrey was hosting.
It's a bold choice for a host. I love it.
He does it a lot lately. It is, yeah. He was hosting. He lights Rand at however many minutes. And as the light flashes, Rand just flips him off and then just goes back to material. The comic section in the back, I was laughing so loud I had to stop. I had to get up and walk away.
Dude, I love it.
I've never seen a comic do that. He just flipped him. Fuck you, dude.
He
asked him if he wanted the light. He said yes. And when he lighted him, he just flipped him off. I don't know why. I've never seen a comic do that. It caught me so off guard.
Let's flip off Grampy when he gives us the light tonight.
He wouldn't see it. But it was very...
And you'll do it too tonight?
Sure, at our show.
Yeah. Thanks, can't wait.
Yeah, no. So it was great, man. And Rand, he had some material. He was kind of in that vein of like the Sam Talent tree. You know, I would say there's a lot of comics now that love Sam and just the riffing and the crazy madness. But there's some material, but it's so well thought out and it flows even with the crowd work that it doesn't feel like he did any material. It all feels off the dome.
There was one thing, to bring it back to Matt Rye for a second, there was one thing that was like crowd work, but it was prepared. 100% prepared. Course.
And
I mean, that's fine. That's what they do.
You just sniffed it out.
But I sniffed it because it
and you shouldn't be able to.
Felt so obvious. And and obviously like people who crowd work, it's always.
Right. Also, we should say there is something very funny about 2 comedians in Northeast Tennessee in your basement talking shit about Matt Rye.
I know.
It's kind of funny.
It's hilarious.
And
we're better. I did.
I'm
at
sure
one
that
point
some people listening to this are going, "Thank God you realize how fucking."
I did say earlier that I'm confident that my best 10 is better. I could make people laugh in my best 10 more than they laughed.
That's a wild one. I'll be honest. That's a wild statement.
You didn't see it.
Yeah. That's true.
You didn't see it.
I didn't.
I think my best 10. Dude, I mean, how often? Like, I'd say I get a laugh every 20 seconds. On average, every 20 seconds. Some big, some small.
If Derek's in the crowd every 5, you get a lot of sympathy laughs with Derek in the crowd.
Meredith gets me a lot.
Yeah. No, that's when you're bombing. She loves it. God does.
But no, I would say, like, what would you say you get? Like, I'd say, like, every 20 seconds, I'm getting at least a chuck, like a something.
I used to time it.
I've never done it. I've never officially timed it. I'd say every 20 seconds. That's what kind of... Like, if I can't get a laugh in 20 seconds, the joke's too long. I need to put a funny in there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So if I do 10 minutes, that's 3 laughs a minute. That's 30 laughs in 10 minutes. Right?
That's quick math. That's pretty good. Is that the ADHD too?
Yeah, that's...
Adderall?
No. Adderall. You wouldn't like me on Adderall.
Yeah, you wouldn't like me when I'm Adderall.
Yeah, you wouldn't like me on Adderall. I turn into...
the Hulk?
No, I turn into a douchier Captain America. Yeah, that's a reference to my opener for those of you know.
You turn into Captain Confederacy.
That'd be a fun.
Can we please do a comic?
That would be a fun superhero.
Dude, how is that not a Captain Confederacy?
Captain Confederacy.
Can we talk about this, please?
Yeah, dude, I love it, man. He's got his mask is just a Klan robe.
Yeah. He's like, on your left.
The Klan was after the Confederacy.
It's all right. They got the joke.
I got yeah.
Oh, hey, speaking of that, I did a roast in Knoxville as well, and that was really cool. I went up against a fella named Ethan Wheeler. Do you know Ethan?
No, I don't. We talked about this on your way down there.
Yeah.
Did you murder him?
No. No, I did not. The original plan was for me and Meredith to go up against each other, and she had to drop, couldn't make it. So then I got randomly matched with this guy, and I had met him before. I actually hosted an open mic when Justin was out of town one time in Knoxville for him, and Ethan was there, and I met him, and he's a super sweet guy. He's very new. I don't know exactly how long into comedy, under a year, I'd say. Give or take. And so, he was very nice when we got there, and he was like, this is going to be fun. And we both had sort of a short notice, but really more than that, it was just I didn't really know anything about him. And I had asked multiple people things about him, and they said he's sober and he's ugly. So that's basically what I had to work with.
That's so fucking mean, dude.
Yeah, it's both true, but it's
but it's so fucking mean.
No, I invited him to come on and talk about the roast sometime too. He's a very sweet guy, and he'll be on in the future, I'm sure. Yeah. Very very nice dude. But yeah, so we went up and had a good time. He was I was expecting him to look very different than he dressed. He was wearing an all white. No, he was wearing an all white hat, stark white. Like it looked like he just bleached
the Klan and you went here. Yeah.
Right. So one of the roast jokes I said just on the fly, I was like, because Justin said I was wearing joggers, I think, and Justin was like, I'm glad he put on his best sweat shorts for this or something. And I was like, yeah. And Ethan put a bill on his favorite hood for this or something. And it got a pretty good pop. Yeah. And a couple of mine did. But Brandy Augustus, friend of ours, hosts those roast battles. And when she brought us up, she was like, she lets the crowd pick who goes first. And so she's like, do you want Nathaniel from out of town, Tri-Cities, to go? And then some person, my mom, was like, woo. And then she wasn't even there. But there's no noise. And,
from Bristol, she was like, woo.
And then she was like, or do you want this hometown Ethan Will? And the crowd was like, ah, and went crazy. So I did feel a little bit of a away
immediate
game
disadvantage,
energy. Yeah. Which is fine. I don't mind. The crowd was very fun. We had a good time. And we were also the first ones up on the roast
That's
battle,
tough, too.
Which is tough. Yeah, it's tough. But it was fun, man. We had fun. Andrew McCaffrey went up there and destroyed, as always, at the roast. And Casey and Travis went up against each other, which is a cool matchup.
Travis Stevenson?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
Very cool matchup. So the roast is fun. I don't know, if any of our listeners are looking for other comedy things to go to in the area.
I know the Tri-Cities are taking a hit for this month. We lost... I mean, we didn't lose. Blue Ridge is moving.
In the arms of the Angels.
In the arms of the Angels.
We lost them.
They're going forever. The first place that ever paid me to do comedy is shutting down.
I saw.
Market Street Social Club.
Market Street Social Club is closing. And honestly, I don't mind plugging that. Is it the 22nd, that last date? I'd like to plug it for them. I believe it's June the 22nd. If I'm not mistaken.
Which might be the day this comes out.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Or the day after. Yeah. June the 22nd.
So it comes out, this episode comes out on the 21st.
Okay.
So
so tomorrow, if you're listening to this, Market Street is a cool venue. It's in Kingsport, and they've been really good to us.
We've talked crap about them as like bombing there, but like it is a good venue. It's just fun for comics to talk about eating shit at different places.
Right. Oh yeah, there's horror stories for every stage, but that one in particular, I mean, the staff is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
The place is cool.
It's good place.
It's Kingsport, and that's tough.
Yeah,
that's hard for comedy.
It is. I'm going to the show that we're going to tonight is in Kingsport. So.
Yeah, the show that you're going to tonight.
I did want to, since I did miss the farewell or goodbye, whatever we named the episode, Goodbye State Street. Farewell State Street. I don't remember. I did want to share some stories from Blue Ridge because I had some that I wanted to talk about.
Well, you got 5 minutes, so
thank you. I don't think everyone listened to that rule, but no, I did get my start at Blue Ridge Comedy Club. I think I may have on this podcast told about the first time I went up, but I signed up for the class, and then like the day that I was sitting there, like I had to sit there and hype myself up. I'm like, I'm fucking here. If I don't go up tonight, I'm not going to do it. And I went up.
Yeah.
And I remember. I did okay.
I remember.
Did better than Matt Rife does, but yeah. No, I did a full 5.
Right.
And I got a couple laughs for the first time.
Yeah.
But no, I will say, like with the club, it doesn't matter that it was on State Street, wherever, but just having that club, getting to meet other people who have this hobby and passion that I have, who's let me start this podcast with my least favorite person I've ever met in my life.
Right.
And just the memories that have came from comedy.
It's all Blue Ridge.
It all starts at Blue Ridge. I was in a very stressful. I had a lot of stress going on.
That gambling debt was piling up.
No, but I'm gonna get real. I'm gonna get real with the people. When I first started comedy, this is not something I don't think I've told.
He's getting real.
So my wife was 5 months pregnant when I started, and we had our autistic nephew living with us temporarily.
Right.
During that time.
Yes.
And on top of it all, I was at a job. This was before I got into the job I'm in now. I had to keep this job for a lot longer because we had our health insurance there. My wife was pregnant, and it was just we had a lot of stress in our life, and having a place where I could relieve some of that stress,
or just take on 10 times as much.
Yeah,
would be more the way I look at it.
I added a lot, but I added healthy stress. I replaced
voluntary stress.
I replaced a lot of the negative stress in my life with some healthier stress.
Sure.
Because like some of the jokes that I still tell to this day, like were just stressful, came from stressful times in my life, and I never had a place to get rid of them.
Well, some of the best stuff does. Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Blue Ridge, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to open for Aaron Weber.
Right.
You know, like do shit like that. So that's really cool. And so I've also eaten a lot of shit at Blue Ridge Comedy Club.
That's true. Mostly recently.
I've bombed a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I didn't bomb this past time. So that was cool.
It's debatable.
Thanks.
No, we at the end of the episode, I said, a similar thing to Sean, just that without Sean taking that leap of coming to our town and going, hey, I think we can do this here, and not knowing, and he mentioned too, not knowing who would come through that door or what's out there, just taking that risk. There's no Talking Bits. There's no episode, whatever the hell this is, 46, 47, almost a year now
47, I think.
Of us sitting in this basement, pretending like we know what the fuck we're talking about.
Sure, that I'm better than Matt or I fit comedy.
Just and saying
you know who else I'm funnier than?
We spew
Nate Bargatze. What? Go ahead.
Right.
No.
But he's getting wild.
Having fun.
Yeah,
just
but without
talking
Blue
bits,
Ridge, So please, if you're listening to this, whenever Blue Ridge does make the announcement that they're reopening.
And I think it'll be this summer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be this summer.
Anytime I ask, Sean just says July. We hope.
Okay,
so I would assume late July sometime. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I did like I said, I do want to just say thank you to Sean and Sarah. Thank you for being here and meeting Sean and bringing him back here and y'all starting a club.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
really, it's all Sarah.
It is all Sarah.
She went up there and wooed him and then snuck him off back to Tennessee. And
then a pandemic
now
happened.
It's ours. Yeah.
And they stayed.
Well, also, they, on that topic, they share a lot of their time and their life with us as well. I think a lot of times we like to think that they're just there to hold the door open or pay the rent, and we just storm in there and it's our little playground. But
Sean has he's helped me with a lot of my jokes.
Yeah.
My
and that's
confident
on
stage.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
not to mention the class, which obviously is an avenue to support the club. Obviously, there's a financial gain there as well. But
it's really not that bad.
I think
either,
more than that, it's a way for Sean to keep himself creative and feel helpful and, kind of like help facilitate this thing.
Yeah. I don't know what
that
the class
he believes in.
Cost now.
I think it's $10,000, isn't it?
It was 20 when I did it. So I mean, unless he's cutting deals, buy one get one half.
It's not $10,000.
God, could you fucking imagine?
It's not $10,000. It's
dude. If I spent
$10,000
$10,000 on a fucking comedy class, listen, this studio is cool.
You'd have to be a lot better.
If this studio is cool, but if I had $10,000 to blow on a comedy class, we'd have a much better studio.
Yeah, we'd be doing this on a yacht right now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. No, it was like $200, I think, when I did it. And I mean, if it's changed, then inflation. Fucking get mad at whoever you want to get mad at. Don't get mad at Sean. But you know what I mean? Like Donald Trump.
We're on the opposite side of that fence, folks.
Have you seen that yard sign?
Welcome back to the Red and Blue podcast.
Have you seen that yard sign on your way?
You want to talk about border policies?
No, I do want to talk about the political side that it's not far from my house. Have you seen that yard sign on your way to my house that says it literally just says Trump was right. That's all it says. Nothing
about
else.
About what?
About nothing. Like it doesn't tell me anything else. Just Trump was right. And every time I see it, I'm like, just elaborate.
You should always pay money to porn stars. That's pay the hush money. He was right. That's what they're saying.
Yes. Yeah. 33.
Rosie O'Donnell is a pig. That's what they're agreeing with.
Lock her up, right?
She's a dog. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it just makes me laugh every time I see that. I'm like, believe who you want to believe in. Just, dude, actually, speaking of something that's just very funny to me. So, as you know, and most of you know, I'm in real estate, so I look at like home listings all the time.
Right.
I saw a listing the other day, and like, again, believe what you want to believe. But on the wall of this listing, there was like 8 pictures of Donald Trump on the wall, just listed to be sold. And I'm like, listen.
It's kind of scary, actually.
Do what you got. Like, believe what you want to believe.
That's like some North Korea shit.
But it is some North Korea
shit. Where
shit.
they require a picture of the leader in every room or whatever.
But if you're going to sell your house and you're going to put it on the internet.
Yeah, take them down.
Just take them down.
Well, they're really wanting to limit who can make an offer.
Yeah.
Because they know there's no, like, gender science major that's
no liberal pig's going to live here.
Yeah.
We've tainted it with freedom.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of, because I kind of...
Speaking of tainting things with freedom?
Yes.
What a cool segue that was.
No, you made me lose my train of thought. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
That's payback. I'll be honest, I can't hear that without thinking of Jared in the dress.
Yeah, I have not seen the video yet. I have not seen
when
the video.
they hit if you don't know what we're talking about, go one episode back.
Yeah,
skip towards the end.
And the reason I've not seen the video for the behind the scenes stuff is I do the audio and Nathaniel does the video. Right. So there was a small error uploading the video yesterday whenever it was supposed to go live, so I just didn't get to see it yet.
Yeah, so it's not up. Well, it is now. Yeah. It was not at the time.
And so I've not seen the video yet, and I listened to it. I know the vibes. I know that Joe Bridges is wearing a mask. That was fun to edit. Thank you, Joe Bridges. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Jared showed up in Meredith's clothing. So
I saw the picture.
In a belly skirt, crop top, and a beret.
Also,
pink beret.
Shout out to Pruitt, because 90% of Pruitt on the episode is fine, sounds like this, and then toward the end of him on the episode, he goes, he just pulls the mic back, and
he's a pro. He's a professional.
You just cannot hear him.
Maybe he felt the flu coming on. That's probably what.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Spoiler.
That
was Pruitt. Now, he'll be in here soon.
That's what I have for this episode.
I think
the biggest takeaway is that Nathaniel and I are doing a show together tonight. I'm funnier than Matt Rife, and
Tyler Gallant was back in town.
That's
your Cliff Notes, folks.
Yep. And we love you. So, well, no, we have to plug our stuff. Talkin Bits Pod on Instagram. Michael Rose Comedy on Instagram and Threads. Follow me on Threads, and I might post. Who knows? NLB_423 on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Don't Tell Tri-Cities on Instagram.
Yes. And I do want to say, too, and I can't remember if I teased this on the last episode. I've kind of started saying this now because you might not even know this. As of a couple weeks ago, I officially have a green light on a very exciting venue for Don't Tell. Something that...
Is it the one that I told you I wanted to do?
Get-go, I've wanted to do. Something that would be a first, not only for Tri-Cities, not only for the state, but for the entire network of Don't Tell Comedy. There's never been a show quite like this one.
I am on this show, or Nathaniel's breaking a promise.
We have a green light.
So...
It's going to happen. It's not going to be super soon. I'll say that.
It's got to be in the summer, right?
It's going to be probably early fall, late summer, early fall.
Okay, I was going to say, you don't want to do that shit.
So, if by some miracle, you're listening to this, if by some miracle you haven't been to a Don't Tell show, if you have been to one.
How many people is that going to seat?
We freaking it out. There's a lot to figure out. There's a lot of logistics still going in. There's a lot. What I will say is part of the whole gimmick of Don't Tell is I can't tell you where it's at.
Holy shit.
Hope that if you're interested in a comedy show, you would want to see a comedy show that is truly an unique underground comedy show.
Okay. Can you tell them the city so whenever it gets announced?
I can't because it's going to be one of two.
Okay.
So, if you're curious,
listen, guys, you have to go to this fucking show.
Don't Tell Tri-Cities.
Nathaniel, whenever he was like interviewing with them, he told me about like this idea he had, and it is the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard. And he did make a promise to me that I would be on that show particularly.
That part's not true. Everything else
he did.
is.
So I will be on the show, or the Talkin Bits podcast is over. So yeah.
Well, it's been nice knowing you guys, but that is gonna happen. I would assume no later than September.
It can't go too much later. No
later than September. So if you're listening and you've not been to one of our shows, or if you have, I really don't give a fuck. You better be there.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you're gonna see the pictures and you're gonna hear people talking about it, and you're gonna wish you were.
You're gonna be like, that's the greatest fucking show.
You're gonna wish you were. So,
you can get any headliner with that.
Don't tell Tri-Cities on Instagram.
Dude,
we may or may not already have somebody lined up.
You pitch you pitch anyone that.
Well, this one in particular, I think he's gonna. Anyways,
that's it.
Don't tell Tri-Cities.
Yeah, we love you. Follow us. We have shows coming up. Check our Instagrams.
Yep.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.